Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. I'm convinced no one really knows how to say that. Hi Ice, I'm Chef David Viana. Welcome to Old Bridge, New Jersey. We're here at my restaurant, Heirloom Kitchen. I can't wait to invite you in and show you around. Right now we're standing in the dining room of our original location, Heirloom Kitchen. It's a cooking school and restaurant here in the heart of New Jersey. 3 days a week, we offer cooking classes, and then 4 days a week, we open as a restaurant, full service with a chef's counter island. Heirloom Kitchen started as a cooking school and retail shop, and Neely and I partnered almost 9 years ago to turn this into a restaurant and cooking school. And this restaurant is my baby. After 20 some odd years in this industry, it was the first place where I found success. It's here where one of the producers of Top Chef came in to dine and invited me to be a part of the show. I got the first of my 3 James Beard Award nominations here for Best Chef Mid-Atlantic. I think my time at ICE was so special. I really had a love for the instructors and the way they made me feel. They really broke down what cooking is and distilled it in a way that, looking back on that, I use that as a reference for how I approach all of our guests when they come in for cooking classes. It's still the inspiration for how I treat my guests when they're here and how I go about, inspiring them and teaching them. I'm really proud of the fact that this restaurant is a part of the community. People not only come in here to experience amazing hospitality, to try new food, but they come here to learn how to cook and spend time with our chefs. When you walk into the door, I want you to feel like you're in your best friend's living room or kitchen counter. People sit in our open kitchen and are invited to be a part of the experience, to ask the chefs questions, to open and broaden their horizons on food. So because Heirloom Kitchen was designed as a cooking school, before ever having aspirations to be a restaurant, we have this wonderful seating area. First, we have the chef's counter right behind me, where you have a very close interactive experience with the chefs. It's really Hibachi 2.0. You can ask questions, you can try things, and then we have this back counter area, kind of like stadium seating. And it's really cool to have sort of a bird's eye view of everything that's happening in a kitchen before you get to see your food. Because of this unique dining style, I've seen, perfect strangers become best friends. I've seen perfect strangers become regulars, and they want to dine with each other here once a month. My favorite part of being a chef is how food brings people together. I think it's the anti-internet. I think it's an opportunity for community and communication, true communication. And I think we need restaurants now more than ever, and I'm really proud of being a chef. I think it's more meaningful than it's ever been. This back counter in particularly holds a special place near and dear to my heart because it kind of changed my life. It's right here where one of the producers from Top Chef dined and watched me and my team perform all night, talking to guests, cooking great food, and it was my ability to connect with people and do it all while cooking that made me an ideal candidate and made them want to ask me to be on the show. Heirloom Kitchen started on a handshake and a Negroni with me and my partner Neely. Both of us with kind of nothing to lose in that point in time in our careers. And what Top Chef did for me was double my business overnight. In the past 3 years, us as a restaurant group, we've been able to open up 3 new restaurants, all thanks to the exposure to Top Chef and the team that we've been able to surround ourselves with. So feel really blessed that we get to do this together. So we're here in the kitchen. This is where the magic happens. All of service takes place back here. Also, this is where the cooking classes begin. From making fresh pasta to how to make a pesto, how to sear a steak, all the details, all the nuances of being a chef, the things that ICE really developed for me, I get to pay it back this time in my setting. So when we're a restaurant, we cook for the entire restaurant right here. The back kitchen is really just the cold kitchen and the salads and desserts come from there. But if you're eating something hot, it's coming from right here in this very small kitchen and this very small space. It is kind of cramped, but it's all very well organized and very seamless. Up here we have our range. We upgraded this during the pandemic. It was originally a Wolf 4-burner, and then we now have a more professional industrial range, a Jade range right here. Back here we have 2 Wolf wall ovens. There's a Wolf steam oven on one side and then a microwave that's never been used. I don't think it even works. Right here we have refrigerated drawers where all of our mise en place for this station goes in. And then underneath the 2 wall ovens on the very bottom are 2 warming drawers that go up to 200 degrees. So a really great staging area for the pass to keep certain sauces and purees nice and hot. Those are the things that kind of help make this, system possible. When we opened up Heirloom Kitchen, I never really got kind of fazed by the guests being so close in front of me. It didn't make me nervous. I know that the guests are watching me, but I'm also watching them, and it's really fun to catch the moment when they take that first bite. And I'm almost addicted to looking out for that. And especially when I slice into a steak and I knew I perfectly nailed it, those are really rewarding moments, and this job has been very good to me in that respect. So the Cookbook Nook originated as a place for people to buy cool cookbooks that are not generally found at Barnes & Noble's. It has since been turned into a little seated waiting area for you if your table's not ready. But more importantly, I think it's a wonderful resource. Chefs have borrowed books from the Cookbook Nook to create dishes. I and other chefs have contributed books to the Cookbook Nook to have on hand here while we're at work. So it's become a wonderful library and resource, and thanks to ICE, I have a passion for continuing my education. The understanding that this is a lifelong career and that the learning never stops is alive and well and breathing here in the Cookbook Nook, and I'm glad to be able to share it with my team. We change the menu very regularly here at Heirloom. I made a commitment to change one dish every week. My menu developing process is highly rooted in seasonality, and that's the genesis of it. But it can come from anywhere. It can come from conversations with guests. It can come from conversations with the team. And I love to call on farmers and to find out what they're really excited about, or what they love that they've been growing recently. So being at Heirloom has really taught me that inspiration can come from anywhere. That's the beauty of food. It can start with a memory or a conversation, a cookbook, or a plate. I love the decor here at Heirloom Kitchen. It's very eclectic. My partner, Neely, who originally opened up Heirloom Kitchen to be a retail shop and cooking school, shares a love for wonderful plateware. She sourced things from Scandinavia and Japan and all over the world, unique plates, unique glassware, and I'm really fortunate to be able to use it in our restaurant, and to put amazing food on amazing plateware is every chef's dream. Being in the restaurant for 9 years, there's also really personal items that kind of decorate the whole place as well. And we have a cutting board that I got signed by Daniel Boulud when I did this foie gras competition. And we have this beautiful, larger than life painting that came from a trip to the Miami Food and Wine Festival. I spent the day before the event with this wonderful group of people and forged a relationship with this wonderful person, the whole time not knowing that he's a famous artist. And it culminated with this package coming in the mail, and it was a gift from Joey Africa. Thank you so much. Wonderful, talented artist with paintings all over the world. I'm so proud to display it, and it makes me so happy and warms my heart every time I look at it. We're in the storage room. One of the first things I did when we turned this into a restaurant was create dry storage for all the things restaurant related. Here we have different flour. We have sorghum flour, baking powder, cocoa powder. We have chocolate, milk powder. We have way more fun ingredients in this kitchen back area than most other restaurants, and that's because of the cooking classes. I think every restaurant really needs a well-organized dry storage. I think it's important to, one, facilitate creation, and two, this really is the nervous system of a restaurant. Everything kind of flows through here one reason or another, so it's important for organization, and to have a healthy, varied pantry creates opportunities for really cool menu items. We're back in the kitchen. It's really busy. The team is preparing for tonight's service. While we're here, I would love to show you one of my favorite dishes on the menu, our octopus with chermoula served over polenta. One of my faves. And it all starts with making our homemade chermoula. The first thing I'm gonna do is take my sun-dried tomatoes, and I'm going to char them in the broiler to get a nice caramelization that adds a depth of flavor. some spices for our chermoula. We have some oregano, some fennel seeds, some coriander, and we're gonna toast them up in a pan just to waken up, liven them up, activate the essential oils of these like dried spices. Tossing things in a pan reminds me when I was at ICE, I used to do it with dried beans just to get the hang of like flipping things in a pan. Always a callback to those culinary school days. So we have some Calabrian chilies, some sweet smoked paprika. We're gonna add a little bit of our homemade harissa in here as well. Here we're gonna add to the food processor something I call GGS. It's ginger, garlic, shallot. We affectionately call it GGS here in our restaurant. We always have this on hand. Now we're gonna zest some lemon. We're gonna add some of the juice of the lemon as well. And we hold it upside down so that the seeds don't fall in. You know, by holding it upside down, the seeds stay sitting on top of the lemon while the juice runs down the sides. And now they're nicely charred and blistered. We're gonna add that. And now we're gonna blend up everything that's in the food processor. Really get it all combined together. Little taste test. A little olive oil. And a little white balsamic vinegar for a little balance in acid. We're looking for a smooth paste. Here we have our chermoula. Now we're going to be making our white corn polenta. We're going to start off with our GGS. It's going to go in the pan. And we're just gonna get a little bit of color on this. Like no color, just a little translucency. You want the oil to absorb all these flavors of the ginger, the garlic, and the shallot. This oil is a really great carrier of flavor for any dish that you're making. So when as much flavor as you can get in any kind of the fat, you get flavor in the cream, you get flavor in the oil. Whenever you can flavor the fat, that's what's gonna travel the furthest in your dish to carry those flavors. Now we're gonna add some dried spices. We got ginger, onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper. Again, whenever you have dried spices, I love adding them to oil. So now we're gonna add our chicken stock, Worcestershire sauce, and then coconut milk. While we're waiting for our polenta braising liquid to come up and come to a boil, let's get started on prepping our octopus. So we have our octopus tentacles here. These were poached in a red wine and water mixture. Just let it simmer for 2 hours. And you have a really super tender octopus. What we're gonna do is we're gonna outline these tentacles. And by outlining the tentacles, it helps kind of preserve them so that they don't fall off. You really wanna keep those, they get really crispy, and it adds a nice little layer of texture and flavor to this dish. I had a Portuguese grandmother who loved making octopus, so I've watched her do it many times. Here it is, nice and clean. This dish is emblematic of our cooking style here at Heirloom. There's bright acidity, there's spice, there's heat, a very dynamic dish. I like opinionated food. I like food that makes you think, food that makes you smile. The worst thing you could ever say about a dish here at Heirloom Kitchen is that it's bland. That would be heartbreaking for me. Now that our mixture of chicken stock and coconut milk is come to a boil, we're gonna slowly add in our grits. White corn polenta. We're gonna take it down to a simmer now that we have it boiling. And now it's just time with an occasional stir to make sure nothing burns at the bottom. We're just gonna occasionally stir this and wait for these grits to cook perfectly. By the way, there's no difference between grits and polenta. Polenta is what they call grits in Italy. So totally the same thing. I like grits because we're in America. Ultimately, you want this texture to be super smooth and creamy. It's been at 5 to 6 minutes. I can see this all starting to thicken up. Now we're gonna prepare our octopus. So we're gonna get a little olive oil in the pan. And then one of the little known facts about octopus is you really don't have to add salt. Like, it's one of those ingredients that's naturally salty from the ocean. And we're gonna sear it in the pan till it gets nice and caramelized. You want that Maillard effect. So the little tentacle suckers are getting nice and crispy. You're getting beautiful color, like golden color on the white part of the octopus. And that's all gonna provide wonderful texture for your dish. And that's exactly what we're looking for. And now that we have nice color on both sides of the octopus, we're gonna add a little bit of this chermoula paste, and we're gonna spread it out in the pan. And we're gonna let that cover all over the octopus. Get this like beautiful chermoula flavor, nice and dressed all over that octopus. So now we're getting ready to plate. Our octopus we just seared. I'm gonna cut that into 2 for plating purposes. Take our polenta, make sure it's nice and creamy. We have our garlic scape pesto. We're gonna just put on top of our polenta here for like some fun spring flavors. We have some pickled Swiss chard. This is the last of our winter ingredients. It's a good way to transition from one season to the other. Pickled pepperoncini peppers. And this beautiful scamorza cheese as a last rounding out note. And there you have it, our chermoula-roasted octopus with creamy white corn polenta, garlic scape pesto. This is one of our favorite dishes this year on the menu. People have been swooning over it, and really happy to be able to share with you. Thanks so much, Ice, for touring our restaurant. I had a wonderful time showing you around. As you can see, service is about to start. I'm the exec chef. I gotta go.